we see from this text is that God was setting up a divine plan of covenant that involved both of them. It wasn't just Abraham's word, it was Sarah's word too. And sometimes men, particularly if you're in ministry, we have the tendency to dismiss the Sarahs out of our life because God spoke to us. But Lord, but you have to understand, if God spoke to you, he is speaking to her. And he wants to accomplish what he wants to do in your life together. It's not, I'm going to go on with God while you sit back. No, honey, come on, because this is a promise to us. So when God speaks in a covenant sort of way, he is speaking to the whole house, not just half the house. When God declares himself to refreshing waters, he's not just talking to a few people, he's talking to everybody. And if everybody come on in, he says the promise will be to you. And so it takes faith. It takes faith. Everybody say, faith is insight from God. Say, faith is agreement with God. Say, faith is obedience to God. And then finally say, faith is waiting on God. It's waiting on God's continuous revelation. It's waiting on God's continuous revelation through the process of the fulfillment of the promise. And so it is out of this time that God begins to, in chapter 15 of Genesis, that God does something very significant to help them to understand the sign of the covenant. To help them to understand, to help Abraham understand that this is not something I am doing independent on my own, that I am going to use you in this process, and I am going to cut covenant with you, and I want you to have, Abram, get this, a covenant mindset. Most believers in our generation don't even understand what covenant is. They don't even know what covenant means. They don't really care to have a covenant mindset. But I want to help push this body over the next 2 or 3 weeks in a covenant mindset. Look at somebody next to you and say, I'm in covenant with you. See, I don't even know what that means here, but I guess I'm in covenant with you. No, we're in covenant with one another. Out of this story, out of this process, we understand that God is a God of covenant. God is a God of covenant. So most people don't have that mindset. And I believe that it is important in this generation to have a covenant mindset. It really is. Really, in essence, the failure to understand the important principle of covenant, it will cause you to be crippled in your faith. Do you understand? We had communion this morning, right? Did you know that's a part of covenant blessing? We prayed for the sick this morning. Do you understand that that's a part of the covenant promise? You know, when a person gets in trouble, let me just give you this example. When a person gets in trouble, because basically the word covenant means, write this down, it means agreement. It means agreement. Now, I'm giving you a simplistic definition of covenant. It is a contract. I could go into the Greek and the Hebrew. There's a lot of, but I just want to give it to you in a way that hopefully you can understand. But it is a covenant agreement. It is a compact. It is really a testament. It is a will. It's more than a contract. It is a divine ordination on a process that God has released into us. It is, in every case in Scripture, you'll see that covenant was instituted between God and man. And when the covenant was instituted between God and man, God was always the initiator of the covenant. And God was the one who declared his will, and he always sought your and my compliance to it. The thing about covenant is, particularly divine covenants that are unconditional, is that God is the one who calls it, and God is the one who sees to it that it gets done. And so covenant is an agreement. And so it's important to understand that when we are covenant minded, when we are living in the place of covenant, that there are certain rights we have, there are certain privileges we have as being part of the covenant. For example, in this United States, you have something called, if you are arrested for a criminal matter, you have something called, you can plead what? Y'all don't watch TV? You can plead, please know that. You can plead the fifth. Everybody know what the fifth is? People don't even know what the fifth means. The Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. It means that you're supposed to have a covenant right because of the Constitution not to self-incriminate yourself. All right? So as one brother said, I plead the fifth. All right? It means I have a right not to incriminate myself. It means that because of the laws of the land, I have a covenant in place that there are certain things that I am not required to do because of the laws of the land. So when we talk about covenant, it is not only just a contract, but it is a blood-bought right for certain things to be released into your life.